Buonasera. Now, unfortunately, you can't escape it. You can't get away from it. Everyone wants to know what happened to me. I had the most promising career in all of Hollywood. What happened? Where did I go? Well, this was the thing. I was the most famous teenager of the 80s in the world. Not in the United States, in the world. And that's not easy to be. Especially when you live in the US. And especially when in the US in the 1980s, nobody supported a teenage actor. Everybody hated teenage actors. If you were a teenage actor in the 80s in the United States, you might have been allowed to do a couple of roles on a soap opera or on a sitcom on television, and that was it. You know, they had maybe jobs for people younger than teenagers, the so-called teenagers, doing so-called teenage films like The Breakfast Club, etc. They were all 19 years to 21-year-olds to older. Every single one of them. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that directors back then, they didn't want to film teenagers. They wanted to film topless girls. And because of that, they needed, by US laws, to use people 18 years of age and older. Some of that also came into the fact that agents didn't like it. Agents didn't want a teenager. Agents didn't want to be stuck with someone in school. They wanted you to be out of school. And then you have the worst experience of my entire life with an agent. Which, sorry, there's no way to get around it. I'm just going to flat tell you. I was talking with Tom Cruise, and Tom had said that he had gotten a call from an agent, one of the biggest agents in America, and that agent had specifically requested that I join him and that I be in the interview as well. This agent had gone through director Francis Ford Coppola and director Roger Corman in order to find me. I said, okay. And Tom was like, but I'm not sure. This sounds almost like a trap. And we go to the interview. And the interview was with James Levine from William Morris Endeavor. And it turns out he just wanted to insult Tom to his face. And then he looks at me. And he says, and I quote, "And you I absolutely despise. If I have my way, you will never do another film ever again. You will be out of acting as far as I'm concerned." I looked at him and said, "You don't even know me." He said, "You are a child, and you are acting like an adult. You are a child pretending to be an adult. Children should be children. They should act like children. And when they grow up, then maybe we will allow them to enter into the adult world of acting." James Levine, William Morris Endeavor, 1985. Now, you have to understand, I had 5 stars in 5 different countries and 19 international Oscars. Okay? When I talked with Carrie Fisher about this, Carrie had set up an interview with a representative from CAA, and they looked at me and said, "Carrie, I know he's a friend of yours through Roger Corman, but CAA will not represent someone under the age of 18. And I said, "Carrie, forget it. Even if she knew who I was, she would say the same thing." At the Cable Ace Awards in the United States, 1986, nominated for 2 Cable Aces. I spoke with Irv Schichter, a representative from CAA, another representative from WME, and they all said the exact same thing. When you graduate college, send me a resume. What a joke. No, everybody in the entire industry knows if we send you a resume because of who you are, what is our response from you? We do not accept unsolicited resumes. Thank you very much. Goodbye. That's literally how everybody acted back then. So we got together and we set up a campaign to try and find an agent somewhere in the world. And it didn't work. Everybody said, you're under 18, no. So we figured, okay, we'll just quietly slip away. I couldn't even do that. I tried to quietly slip away, and all of a sudden this paparazzi shows up saying how he's going to completely demoralize me and how he's going to show the entire world this, that, and the other thing, just because he couldn't continue his love story between me and Christian McNichol. However, he didn't know my name. He was calling me by my stage name of Jonathan Brandish from the Family Channel's Good King Wenceslas, a name invented by my friend in England, John Hall. And so we got together with a few friends and a few other friends, and we put together a I'm dead publicly. And that stopped the whole nonsense with the paparazzi. Now it seems I almost have to fight all of that just to be alive again. Dumb, but you know. Over the years I've tried many things, and most people just don't even look at resumes anymore. Agents are terrible. They really are. And part of it you have to understand is I grew up in New York, and I worked with Sally Forbes out of Pennybridge Players theater company in Brooklyn, New York. I worked there with my brother and with several other people. One who got to be a great friend of mine worked with me in high school, and who became very big in New York on her own right now, and that's Robin Tara Rubens. And when I was working with Sally Forbes, I would go and do errands for her, and I would drop off messages and letters, etc., to agents in their offices in New York. And at times I would be walking around with Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, attending their interviews with agents. Well, the thing that I did learn about all of this is that agent that said no to you in 1983, in 2016, is still sitting behind the same desk, in the same office, at the same agency. That's part of the problem in the United States. So if they didn't like you when you were 12, they ain't gonna like you now either. The other problem is agents don't want to hire people. They don't need your 15%. They're rich. They're multimillionaires, multi-billionaires. They own their companies. They don't need you. Your 15% they give to charity. So you have to understand I have a lot of angst against agents, and I try as best I can to kind of curtail that. But in some ways this is my agent rant, which will be short. And that's some of what happened. So hopefully, in years to come, I will find somebody better, somebody who will appreciate me for who I am, and will understand when you're having an interview with me, hey, you're talking to someone who's got Oscars everywhere. And there's a reason for that. I don't like using my awards as a punchline. I really don't. That's not who I am. But to get noticed, I have to.